Hi, I'm Case Lowe, co-host of the Open the Voice Gate podcast. The one question I'm constantly asked when it comes to Dragon Gate is, how do I get into the promotion? Well, stop asking and start listening to the Open the Voice Gate podcast, released every Wednesday on the Voices of Wrestling podcasting network. For exclusive news and show reviews, look no further than the leader in Dragon Gate coverage, Open the Voice Gate.
Do you like wrestling trivia? Then check out the 5-Star Match Game, the Pro Wrestling Quiz Show. I'm Joe Gagney, and every episode, I grill 3 contestants with 5 rounds of power-packed wrestling trivia. We have over 30 evergreen episodes in the archives covering WWE, AEW, Japan, Mexico, and much, 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 much more. Play along at home and check it out today.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling podcasting network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Music of the Mat Remix on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. I am your host, Andrew Rich, joined today by a returning guest. He is one of the hosts of the Emerald FlowShow, also on the VOW network. It's Paul Völsch. Hello again, Paul.
Hello, Andrew. Long time to see, really. Yeah, I'm very happy.
It's been a while, yeah.
I'm very happy to be back. You've actually caught me on the first day of my Forbidden Door vacation, essentially, where I'm off from today on until after Forbidden Door, so I am in a good mood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm on vacation now too, actually. The thing is, though, I've been living in a hotel for about a month now because of apartment renovations.
Oh.
So it's vacation, but it's not really vacation, you know? It's very strange, but I'm hanging in there. You know, it's funny, I live in a tiny studio apartment, but you know, it's still my home, and being away from home for so long is a bit taxing. But you know, I've got internet, I've got AC, the hotel is clean, so you know, I'm making do.
Okay, yeah, it definitely seems like. I mean, I'm going to be staying at a student dorm for like a couple of days when I go over to London, but I feel like I might still get a better deal there than you actually at the moment.
Yeah, thankfully, my landlord is paying for my stay, so that is a nice, you know, silver lining there. It's just a question of how long this stay is going to last. So we'll see how long it takes.
At least I know. Yeah, at least I know when I leave the student dorm and just go back to my apartment.
Yeah, but anyway, today's episode, Paul, is going to be a fun one. It's an episode that I am calling European Championship. We are going to be playing songs by artists and bands who are from mainland Europe, or Continental Europe, meaning no UK, no Ireland. We are including Scandinavia, and we are including Iceland as well, for reasons will come up later. But I have separate topics for the UK and Ireland, and we're focusing on other parts of Europe. Now, Paul, you are German, so
yes.
You are, by that logic, European. So it's appropriate that you're here. And actually, I have been to Germany. In 2009, I flew with my summer camp group to Israel. And we had a layover in Germany, either Munich or Frankfurt, I can't remember. But we got to visit one of your lovely airports for a few hours. And that's one of 2 times I've ever been to Continental Europe. The other being a day trip to Paris while I was studying abroad. But I imagine you've seen a lot more of Europe than I have, Paul.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously have. I was born and grew up in Germany. I actually spent a couple of years in Denmark to do my master's there. Then, obviously, this isn't Continental Europe by this definition, but then after that, I spent actually 4 years in Ireland as well, which, Andrew, I do have to say, That was actually like the no UK music actually was not that hard for me. The no Irish bands is the one that threw me for a loop, and I do have to say, the whole no Irish thing, I feel like you're not doing your Boston heritage proud with that one. That feels like more of a New York thing, to be quite honest.
Listen, I may be from Boston, but I'm not Irish. Okay, I've got no connections there with that culture. I'm sorry. But yeah, the cool thing about Europe is, there are just so many countries, packed together, and you don't have to fly around everywhere. You can get to one of those, Eurail passes and hop on a train and you're off. I mean, I've never had the dream of backpacking around Europe. That's just not me, but plenty of people have done it because, they can.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can literally hop on it. I mean, not right now because it's 11 p.m. But otherwise, I could just hop on a train and just be in Poland in an hour, or I could be in the Czech Republic in hour and a half, I guess, on the train. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. So yeah, no, I think it is always interesting that Europe is much more compact than we within Europe would really realize, especially when you compare it to other places in the world where it's you can just I can be in Paris. There's a direct train. I live in Berlin. There's a direct train from here to Paris. There's a night train from here to Stockholm. It's a direct train. Every single time I go running, I actually pass by I more often than not, I see the regular train that goes from here to Prague. So yeah, no, that is very much a real thing to just go traveling around Europe.
Mm-hmm. Now, I mentioned the episode's title, European Championship, and when I say that, I think almost everybody thinks of the WWF/WWE European Championship, the belt that was around from 97 to 02, because that's the only major company that really had a European title, I believe. There's plenty on the indies and WXW or whatever, but besides the WWE one, there's nothing really else at that level. There's been Intercontinental, US, North American, Global, International. Ospreay had the UK title towards the end of his New Japan run, but the European designation has been left kind of in the dust, I think. It's interesting how, a major company hasn't really brought that back, I think, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, I will say when Park held the, what's it called again? Was it the Atlantic title?
The All-Atlantic.
The All-Atlantic title, right?
Called.
Yeah. That's kind of what that was originally, right? Because basically it was held by Park, and then he would kind of go back. Well, but then again, he didn't even really defend it all around Europe. He mostly defended it in the UK, if at all. So I feel AEW has at least tried to do it. But no, I do agree that at least within major companies, there hasn't really been a big push. I mean, you mentioned WXW, right? But even WXW only introduced a European title last year. That's a very, very recent thing they've introduced. So there's definitely there is definitely a gap that I think is waiting to exploit it in a way in the wrestling business, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the trick is obviously how do you make it distinct and unique? Do you just have it be fought between Europeans? Is it just defended in Europe? It's difficult especially if you're a company based in America. Because if you look at, the WWE title and that whole run, only two of its champions were actually European, Bulldog and Regal, and that's it. And
yeah,
but that's true for so many belts. So many titles have a region in their name, and it doesn't matter. There's no special rules. Anyone from any country can hold it. It's just another belt, really.
I mean, how many U.S. champions were not American, right?
Exactly, yeah. But on this episode, Paul, we are sticking to the rules. There will be no American bands or Canadian bands or bands from the Ivory Coast. We're staying in Europe here, my friend. So we'll be on point here.
Yes. Well, there was one I very briefly considered. Okay, not subverting the rules, but basically sending you one thing that would make you question whether or not I subverted the rules. But then I decided against it because I just didn't like the song well enough. Because there isn't one. There are like multiple like fake Irish German bands. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm just going to send him one of those. But then I was like, I don't like any of the songs well enough to do that. And I'd rather stick to songs I actually like and can talk about besides just being like, Andrew, see, I got around your rules in a little bit.
I'd be wagging my finger. Oh, you scamp. Oh, you scamp. Yes, let's get to the music. We have 10 picks each and a play-out song at the end. Paul, you are the guest. You'll go first. So what's your first pick?
So my first pick is one of the most legendary Norwegian bands, and the reason why I picked them specifically I will get into after the song. But the first song that I picked is the band Aha with the song Minor Earth, Major Sky.
I can't see me in this empty place, just another lonely face. I can't see me here in outer space, it's so hard to leave a trace. And I tried, but it never comes out right. Yes, I've tried, but I never get it right. It's a minor major sky. Minor major sky.
So the reason I specifically picked this, well, maybe not the song, but this band specifically. So when you suggested the theme to me, this actually was like the first band I immediately thought of. And there's a very specific reason for that. So there is this YouTube channel, Todd and the Shadows. Very, very good YouTube channel. Does a bunch of music analysis. And one of the series that he does is one-hit wonders. And I very much enjoyed the series and everything until one specific episode came out. And that was One Hit Wonders, Aha, Take On Me. And I was like, why the fuck is Aha on a show called One Hit Wonders? That was just a thing that was completely baffling to me. Aha, from a European perspective, is one of the biggest bands that has ever existed. Like, they have sold like an absolutely insane amount of albums in Europe. So like I was just completely like just floored when like I learned that like in the US they're considered a one-hit wonder with Take On Me, which, I mean, to be fair, great song, I could have suggested that, but like I didn't want to do that. And I specifically didn't want to do that because they are considered a one-hit wonder in the US. I mean, I went with my own personal favorite song of theirs because I think this song is just a really strong, like, atmospheric vibe. It is actually, like, because obviously the heyday was, like, the 80s and a bit. And this one is from the early 2000s. And I think it just shows how they kind of have matured as musicians in a way. Where you can definitely still see the DNA, right? Like the trail, right? That goes from like the early stuff like Take On Me, that goes straight like into the song, but like how it has become like a bit more like mature, a bit more like sophisticated, for lack of a better term. And that really was the reason like why I like wanted to pick the song, because like in a way I actually wanted to show like, no, like, not only is Aha not a one-hit wonder, like they had incredibly long staying power, and they developed very, very strongly as musicians, even after they kind of fell out of the view of, let's say, like the like North American perspective, for example. So like, what did you think about the song, Andrew?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I like that kind of house influence sound that they're going for here. Gives them a more modern flavor than the 80s stuff. And the effects give it a bit of a spacey feeling too. So it lines up with the subject matter. Yeah, I liked it. This episode is going to be, I think, very similar to the Canadian Destroyers episode I did with Warren, where a lot of these acts might not be known in the US, or if they are, it's just for one or two songs. But they are way, way, way bigger deals in their native country or Europe in general. And this is a great example of that. Because, yeah, most people in America only know Aha for Take On Me. You know, it's an iconic song, an iconic video. But Aha in Norway and Europe is, you know, a pretty massive deal. And they've got a bunch of other hits. So, yeah, I appreciate you going with something less, you know, well-known to me. And I'm sure other people as well listening.
It's actually, okay, fun fact that you bring up the Canadian episode specifically. So I kind of like went for like a couple of beers with a friend of mine after work, like basically after work before we started recording this episode. And that guy is Canadian. And his thing, like, and I told him, it's like, oh yeah, I have like a hard out because I'm recording with Andrew and everything. I showed him like the list of the songs and everything. And him being Canadian from Edmonton just immediately was like, what he would do if there was like a Canadian like episode. And I was like, well, no, that already happened. Like, and I showed him like the examples that like what like you had on that episodes and everything. And then he still like listed off like a bunch of Canadian artists after that.
That's great. That's great. And what's cool too, you know, it's the same three guys as well after all these years, because they've been going on and off for like 4 decades, and it's still the original trio. Yeah. It's, you know, it's pretty impressive in that industry for sure, Paul. So.
Yeah.
All right. So my first pick here, I'm going to start off in Sweden with a band called Whale, and this is off of their debut album We Care. This song is called Hobo Humpin' Slowbo Babe. That's their first single, and they come out swinging with this funky alt-rock trip-hop mishmash with slinky female vocals in the verses and just dudes straight up yelling in the chorus. And it has, you know, one of the most memorable titles I can think of, really, you know, Hobo Humpin' Slowbo Babe. Like, what the hell is that? And based on what I found, Slowbo was a mistranslation by the band. It was meant to be Sloan, which is British slang for a stereotypical upper-class person. So the subject of the song is, I think, it's about one of these women who is a drug addict, who goes around offering her body for drugs, seeking candy, who sleeps around, lost her eyesight, teeth are poor, broken kneecap, velvet spine. So it's not a pretty picture at all. But it's still fun to sing along to, Paul. I do enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. I also feel like I might have actually, like, found that person. Like, when I lived in Ireland, there was, like, one time I found, like, a heroin addict, like, literally, like, sprayed out in front of, like, the front door. it kind of sounds like she kind of looked like that description, to be quite honest, quite exactly, which is kind of weird. But aside from that, let's talk about the music. Out of all of, like, I actually didn't know this song before. Like they're like on your list, there's like a couple of songs that I've heard before. But like this is one I hadn't heard of before. And I have to say, out of all of the songs that you sent, like this is probably the one that I am going to be like listening to the most after this. So like I really, really enjoyed this one. I think this is like exactly my style as well. Just like this kind of like a little bit of like a weird like gonzo music, I think is like a good way to describe it as well. Because there's like a couple of other songs that I think are like very similar vibes to this one. That I've been listening to like regularly. So yeah, no, this one, I like the moment I listened to it, I was like, I have never listened to it, but it feels incredibly familiar just based on the style. So no, this is my favorite out of the ones that you suggested.
I guess it's all downhill from here then. Okay, I'll brace myself.
well, I mean, not necessarily, but like, I mean, I warned you, there will be one song that I will bury you for, but we'll get to that.
We will. Well, this is one of those cases where they put out the single, and then it became this big hit in several countries, including America, because the video was on Beavis and Butthead, and then they did the album afterwards. And the album got really good reviews, but the band broke up in '99. So you might say they became a beached whale, folks.
Hey,
Come on now.
I mean, I've got a worse comparison because when I saw the name first, I was like, why are you sending me a song from like the guy who was doing like shows at like WrestleMania weekend, right? Yeah, Wally Man,
yeah. Guy, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, this is WH.
I was like, I'm pretty sure he's Canadian, yeah.
yeah. But all right, Paul, what's your next pick?
Yes, so my next pick is, we're actually going to be staying in Sweden. And we're actually going to Swedish metal now, which is the band Sabaton with the song 1648.
En masslakt utan sorg när det plundrat bränt och skövlat på dess torg. Till märgerna, till slakten, döden står och väntar över bron. Döden står kvar. Och Karlsbron tog stridslyckan slut för det som kämpat så hårt genom eld. Det plundrat och gått fram som ingen annan man, som ingen annan kan. Brand och mord, till bönen ska falla. Königsmarkslag, låt den stiftas i Prag. Dränkt i blod, som svenskarna slår sig fram. Gör onda dåd, nöjedåd.
So Sabaton is one of my all-time favorite bands. I actually watched a concert of theirs a couple of years ago. I think, was it either last year or the year before? I don't remember exactly. They are very, very, very good. It's their kind of speciality is a bit weird because their speciality is war. So they make a lot of like concept albums that are, for example, like about like a specific time period, about a specific like theme. Like they did, like, for example, like they did an entire like album, for example, on like Last Stands of that, like, for example, people have done. This one specifically that I picked here is because I kind of wanted to like get a bit of variety of like languages in there. Like they normally actually do like the vast majority of the songs and albums are in English. But this one specifically, they did actually, this album actually exists both in English and in Swedish. And specifically because it is about the Swedish Empire. So it is about like the Swedish Empire which existed basically between the period of the 30 Years' War and about the end of the Great Northern War in 17 something, don't remember exactly. So about like 150 years essentially. So they did like a concept album about that, and them being Swedish, they also wanted to put that out in Swedish as well. Why I picked this one specifically, again, it is actually not my favorite song of Sabaton's. I have probably some other songs that I prefer over this one, but I specifically picked this one because I wanted to have a song in Swedish. And out of the songs that they've recorded in Swedish, this one is actually probably my favorite. I actually prefer this one over like the English version of the song, and also, so I don't necessarily, I don't speak Swedish, but I speak Danish, which means I can actually kind of understand what they're saying. And what I like over the Swedish song, or Swedish version of the song compared to the English version of the song, is that they're a bit more critical of the conduct of the Swedish troops, because this is specifically about the Swedish siege of Prague, and in 1648. And in the English version, they're very much going into it, but in the like Swedish version, they're very, very critical of the conduct of the Swedish troops in this one. And I actually kind of liked it, because it is one thing, right, to have like war as your theme, but if you do that, you do have to highlight the fucking horrors of it as well. And I think the Swedish version actually does this much better than the English version does. Now, obviously, Andrew, you're not going to get that, because I'm just going to make a wild assumption and say your Swedish is not very good.
I'm a bit rusty in that regard,
okay.
yes.
But how did you like the song?
You know, it's another recurring theme of the episode here, of course, songs that are not in English. But despite the language barrier, I was still, pumping my fist here, because, I have no knowledge of the Battle of Prague. I have no knowledge of the 30 Years' War, whatever. But you give me a Swedish...
Okay, how much time do you have?
Not 30 years, so... But yeah, you give me a Swedish power metal band with big riffs and fast drums, emphatic vocals, and you know what? I get the gist. Badass metal songs about war work in pretty much, any native tongue, I think, Paul. So yeah, I dug this one, for sure.
Okay, I'm very happy.
Yeah. But yeah, I've heard of Sabaton, but I never listened to them before. So yeah, I never realized that a lot of their music is like this. It's based on historical events and wars and battles. But I do listen to Iron Maiden, and a bunch of their songs are based on historical events and wars and battles. And Iron Maiden is apparently a big influence of Sabaton, so it all makes sense there, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to pivot here to a French electronica duo, or as the French say, deux. This is Air, and I went with a song off of their debut album, Moon Safari, and this is their tribute to Shawn Michaels, because it's called Sexy Boy. Yeah, there are three French electronic duos that come to mind for me. Daft Punk, Justice, and Air. And of those three, Air is, they're the most chill of them, because this does have a slight heft to it with the deeper synth, the blah, 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 blah. But for the most part, as you heard in the verses there, it's pretty down-tempo and pretty dreamy. And it has that retro feel to it, too. The album is called Moon Safari, and this does have a retro-futuristic spacey quality to it, which I like a lot. So yeah, I don't listen as much of Air as I do Daft Punk. Those robots are number one in my book. But yeah, I like this song a lot, Paul.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is most definitely a song I have probably like danced to in a club in Berlin at some point. Because, I mean, like, that's just, that's just right on the level of what, like, I mean, there's some music, I mean, maybe, like, you might go for, like, the more hardcore techno, but, I mean, most clubs in Berlin actually will be, like, more, like, geared towards this, where it's just kind of, like, chill and house and just, you can just kind of, like, have a good time to it. And, I mean, that's really the thing of the song for the most part, right? Like, the theme is, like, you just, like, have a good time, just kind of chill out. But there's one thing from the start of the song which immediately, for a weird part, it made me think of like something completely unrelated to the topic of the episode. Because, okay, Andrew, you have to tell me if I'm crazy. Does the start of the song not like remind you incredibly strongly of Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi?
You know what? I can hear it. Whoa, whoa,
yeah, because it has
whoa,
like the
whoa,
yeah, exactly, yeah. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I listened to the song. I was like, man, this sounds so much like Living on a Prayer, but obviously it has very, very different vibes otherwise. But no, I also really enjoyed this one too.
Mm-hmm. I will say, I made the Shawn Michaels joke earlier. Looking at the translated lyrics, you can make some wrestling connections there. Where are your heroes with athletes' bodies? Where are your unshaven, well-dressed idols? Dollars in their eyes, diamonds in their smiles. One day, too, I'll be beautiful like a god. So, it's a cosmetic business, brother. It kind of works there, Paul, I think.
No, that actually, you know what? With those lyrics, now I'm like, you know what? Somebody should actually use this as their theme. That actually kind of works really well.
All right, what you got next there, Paul?
Yes, so I've kind of tried to like keep kind of like essentially like somewhat thematic two pairs. I've mostly succeeded with that. So, but we're definitely now. So we've done kind of two like Nordic bands, right? Like we did a Norwegian band, we did a Swedish band. So now we're moving a little bit closer to home, very close to home actually for the next two. Because we're not just moving to Germany, we're actually moving to Berlin, and we're moving to like the band that kind of defined Berlin in the mid-2000s, and it's the Beatsteaks with I Don't Care As Long As You Sing.
I get everything right and I want you to. I get everything right, I'm not playing rude. I get everything right, get up and sway. You make me sing. So here we go, it doesn't bag and you protect me no more. We'll knock it up, I break it down, and double back and for sure I go back to zero. So here we go, it doesn't pay and you protect me no more. We'll knock it up, I break it down, and double back and for sure I go back to zero. Get up. I swallow it up if the pressure is up, and the feeling I've got is I'm not gonna stop. We are back in the earth.
So I actually had my mic muted while the song was playing, so you didn't hear me kind of like drum along on the table to this song. Like, to me, this is the perfect summer song. Like, I was kind of like listening, or rather re-listening to like all of the songs we're gonna be like talking about today while I was like walking over to the bar, and again, walking through Berlin in like August summer heat with this song playing is just kind of a very special feeling. Beatsticks, like obviously they're doing the songs in English. I think that's they are a German band, but they're doing the songs in English, and I think that is intentional. Obviously, like their influence, like they carry their influences on their sleeve very obviously. Like very, very much like influenced by like the kind of like it's very much like they're a punk band, but it's a very soft punk kind of band, which I think kind of very, very well aligns with kind of where that kind of music was at in like the early to mid 2000s. And they were just like absolutely, like if we're talking about like bands that aren't really known anywhere else, because I don't think they're really known outside of Germany at all. But they were just insanely massive within Germany. They would just like literally sell out stadiums in Germany, and just that song was just like, that's just the ultimate sing-along song for them as well at all of their concerts, because there's just so many points in that song that just invite just a crowd to just like, no matter like how drunk, no matter how gone they are, to just like sing along and just kind of go crazy. And like I just incredibly, I just love the vibes of this song. They're just so lovely, they're just so like nice, and like it just makes you feel good.
Yeah, I'm more of a sloppy steaks guy, but these guys are pretty good too.
Hey.
Yeah, I've said before, I love my melodies, and if you're a punk band that has melodies, then you're my kind of punk music. That's just the way I roll, and this has that for sure. I like that swaying rhythm that's got going on there, and you mentioned the crowd sing along. There is, a call and response part in there too, though. Whoa, yeah, that's nice there too. So yeah, I enjoyed this one for sure, and yeah, I had never heard of this band before. But if they have more songs like this one, I'll check them out, definitely.
Yeah, this one is definitely I will say this is my favorite song of theirs, but like there's definitely, if you wanna like look into it, like specifically like this album as well, and like the one before and after, I think it's like, to me, are like their peaks. Mm-hmm. And they definitely have like a bunch more songs that I think are of like similar quality as well.
Mm-hmm. It's also a thing where if you didn't tell me they were German, I probably wouldn't have guessed, because you can't really tell with the singer's accent sometimes, because that's true for American bands too, or British bands. Sometimes a band might sound one way, but they're actually, from another place entirely. So yeah.
I mean, there's one coming up actually, like in a little bit from your choices, that I constantly forget is not American. So.
All right, we'll see what that is then, definitely. All right, so my next pick here, this is another electronica duo, this time from Norway. It's called Röyksopp. Röyksopp, featuring a Norwegian singer named Kate Havnevik on vocals. This is from Röyksopp's second album, The Understanding, and this is called Only This Moment. So I discovered Röyksopp the way most people in America did. It was the Geico Caveman commercial, which had their song Remind Me in it. And I loved that song as a kid, but it wasn't until years later that I decided to look up more of what they've done. And it turns out they've got a bunch of really damn good songs, like this one. I love the flow of it. I love just the light, angelic vocals, both from the guy and also from Kate Havnevik. And lyrically, it's emotional, it's melancholic. There's love, but it's also only in this one moment, and you have to decide whether to pursue it. So it touches that emotional synth pop nerve within me. So yeah, I have to thank the good people at Geico and their ad agency for picking that song all those years ago, because it led me to this group, Paul.
Yeah. I mean, I talked about it before with Air and Sexy Boy, right? Where I was like, I probably have danced to the song at a club in Berlin at some point. I think I can actually literally like pinpoint exactly when I danced to the song in a club in Berlin and which club that was. Like I'm very certain that was like either June or July, like 2023, at I forgot the name. Like it also doesn't exist anymore, which is great. And it was on the outside. It was one of those times where like, okay, if you want to know the secret of going clubbing in Berlin, you go at like 1 p.m. on like a Saturday or Sunday, because they're open all weekends. There's no line. You just get in. There's people in there. You stay there for 6 hours, which means it's still only like 7 p.m. And then you leave, you have dinner, and you go to bed. And that's how you go clubbing in your 30s. But yeah, so no, I again, this is another one of those songs that I really liked actually. I really like the vibes again. Like I think they're really nice summer vibes, like really nice summer evening vibes of just like you're just kind of like by like a river, right? Like you're just chilling with your friends. Yeah, like somebody has like a box with them where you can just play some music and just sit by the river. And you just have like some cans and everything. Like that's exactly the vibes you get from the song. And again, it just makes you relax so well.
Mm-hmm. That's the Scandinavian spirit, I think. They have a lot of that kind of music, and they have their crazy death metal too. Don't get me wrong, and black metal or whatever. But yeah, they are a great region for synth pop, electronica, that kind of music, and those kind of vibes. And Röyksopp are still going. They put out an album in 2014 called The Inevitable End. And they said, that's it. This is our last studio album. We're done with those. And then 8 years later, they put out a series of 3 albums within 7 months. So they went back on their declaration there, I guess. But yeah, Röyksopp has a lot of good stuff to check out for sure in your spare time. But all right, Paul, what you got next?
Yes. So as my next pick, I have, well, if you're German, you might be anticipating this, to be quite honest. If not, be prepared to blown away. My next pick is Peter Fox with Alles Neu.
Neue Reihe, weißer wie bei einem weißen Hai. Gewachs, gedopt, poliert, nagelneue Zähne. Ich bin euphorisiert und habe teure Pläne. Ich kaufe mir Baumaschinen, Bagger und Walzen und Kräne. Stürze mich auf Berlin und drück auf die Sirene. Ich baue schöne Boxentürme, besser massieren eure Seele. Ich bin die Abrissbirne für die deutsche Szene. Hey! Alles glänzt! So schön neu. Hey, wenn's dir nicht gefällt, mach neu. Die Welt mit Staub bedeckt, doch ich will sehen, wo's hingeht. Steig auf den Berg aus Dreck, weil oben frischer Wind weht. Hey, alles glänzt, so schön neu.
So this song hit the German music scene like a fucking bomb. It's basically, it came out in the late 2000s, and at the time it was probably already fading out a little bit anyway, but German like hip-hop / R&B music was like very much still stuck in its like gangster phase, which was mostly very embarrassing, to be quite honest, in hindsight. But then around comes this song. and it's Peter Fox in a suit with like an entire fucking orchestra backing him up, and he just like lays down like some of the sickest beats you've ever really heard in your life. And like that entire album that he brought out is it's called Stadtaffe. It's generally widely considered to be one of the greatest albums in like German language like music history. Like there's a couple other songs on there that are like absolute bangers that like he turned into singles as well. Like I fought for a very, very long time whether or not, like I knew like when this theme came up that I was going to put Peter Fox on here, but I was thinking for a very, very, very long time whether or not I would put Alles Neu on here or whether or not I would put Schwarz zu Blau. So Schwarz zu Blau is like a song that is the one that comes right after this song, which is about going home after you are like at a party in Berlin that went way too long. But then I was like, okay, like Alles Neu, I feel like is the one that like people will be like have a much easier time relating to, just because of its like the bombast of the song and everything. So that's why I went with that one. But it was a very, very close call. But yeah, so Andrew, how much experience do you have with German rap?
Again, a little rusty in my knowledge of the scene. I will say when I first put it on, I was a little taken aback because that bit of orchestration that is used throughout the song, that bum ba da bum ba da ba da ba bum ba da ba, that's the same music that is used in The Phoenix by Fall Out Boy, which I played on the show.
Oh shit, you're right.
a few episodes ago with Mora. So I did the Leo DiCaprio point meme when I heard that. But yeah, I like this. You know, my knowledge of German rap and the German language, very, very small, but it's got a good flow to it. And I did look up the translated lyrics too, and they're very amusing. You know, I burn my studio, snort the ashes like coke. I'll kill my goldfish buried in the yard. I'll blow up my place. I'll let go of everything I've got. My old life tastes like soggy toast. I look better than Bono, and I'm a man of the people, ready to save the world, even if that might be too much to ask. So, yeah, like, would I still enjoy, like, the flow of the words if they were in English as opposed to German? I don't know, maybe not, but regardless, it's just, it's a fun song, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, maybe actually one of the things I should mention why specifically these were like the lyrics that he picked for it is, so basically Peter Fox got a start in a band called Seed. And Seed is a German reggae band. So what he was actually mostly known for was reggae songs. And you can kind of see why this is a bit of a change from that.
Yeah, that's a bit of a jump, I'd say, for sure. But I will say the music video is great too, because it's him surrounded by a drumline of guys wearing chimp masks, and there's also an orchestra wearing ape masks as well. So the sense of humor is evidenced in the video as well, Paul, definitely.
Yeah. Because the album is called Stadtaffe, which means like city monkey, basically.
Well, there you go. I didn't know that, so there you go. Yeah. All right, well, let's stay in Germany, Paul, with my next pick. Funny enough, you know, most of my list is actually pop or synth pop or electronica or dance stuff of some sort. That was just the mood I was in when I was picking the songs, I guess. But I did want at least one hard rock pick in there, and I went with old reliable. It's Scorpions. This is off of their album Animal Magnetism. And this is The Zoo.
I meet my girl, she's dressed to kill. But all we gonna do is walk around to catch the thrill on streets we call the zoo. We eat the night, we drink the time, make
that's one of my favorite Scorpion songs. It's just so menacing. It's got that lumbering riff. Da-da, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-da, ba-dum. And the whispery vocals from Klaus Meine and the verses. It's like a caged animal just pacing back and forth. And then it blasts out in the chorus. And it's inspired by the band's first tour of America in 1979 and being in New York. And, you look at footage of New York City in the 1970s and Times Square and all the filth, all the seediness and the danger. They transplanted those vibes over to the song very well, I think. And there's a talk box in there, too. I love a good talk box in the song. That kind of adds to the guttural, animalistic sound there. So, the zoo, scorpions, animal magnetism. It's quite the jungle going on here, Paul.
Yeah, okay. All right. Andrew?
Uh-oh.
I fucking hate the Scorpions.
Oh, no!
So much. They are legitimately one of my least favorite bands on the planet.
My goodness.
Now I kind of feel bad because you did such a nice like talk about the song, and I do not like the Scorpions. I never have. I think most of the songs are really bad. I also have to say I did not really like this song either, to be quite honest. I thought it was... I kind of see where you're coming from, but I also thought it was kind of boring. Sorry. As a positive, what I will tell you is that I'm happy that you picked this song and not Wind of Change. If you had picked Wind of Change, I might have just told you that I'm not going to do the recording, because that might be my least favorite song of all time.
I just hear the boop boop and you're gone.
Basically, yeah. No, I mean, this one, I like I said, I didn't really like it. It could have been worse. It's. I think this was the replacement, right? So it's definitely improvement. Let's put it that way, because I don't think there's anything out there in that way. So that's good. And otherwise, yeah, I don't know. I just do not like the Scorpions. The Scorpions, to me, they just feel like a cover band. They just feel like a cover band of better hard rock bands. That's what I feel like whenever I listen to any of their songs, where I'm like, yeah, I recognize where you stole this from, so now I'm just gonna listen to the band that did the same thing but better.
Watch this, Lise. You can actually pinpoint the exact second his heart breaks in half.
I had a feeling that's what I was gonna do here, unfortunately. But look, I have to be honest.
It's fine. I get it. You mean well. You have no malice in your heart for me. Just this band.
No, I don't. Well, Andrew, do you want me to break your heart even further?
Oh boy.
Because I actually thought of a perfect comparison for the Scorpions.
Please do.
The Scorpions are the Shota Umino of rock music.
Digging the knife in deeper.
Because you just look at their eyes and they just don't have it.
We'll agree to disagree. How about that? But I will mention Bruce Dickinson does a great cover of this song. It's on the ECW Extreme Music album, because it was Mike Awesome's theme for a time in ECW, and I love that version there too. So you might not like that one, Paul. I don't know, but if you're feeling up to it, you can check that one out, I guess. But
I might.
But all right, let's get back to the positivity, shall we? What's your next pick there, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, we're actually kind of sticking with kind of the same type of music. So we've done the Nordics, we've done Germany, and there cannot be, right, an episode about European music without Eurovision. And we're going straight to one of the winners. We're going to Måneskin with Ziti e Bononi.
Loro non sanno di che parlo, vestiti sporchi fra di fango, giallo di siga fra le dita, io con la siga camminando. Scusami ma ci credo tanto che posso fare questo salto, e anche se la strada è in salita, per questo ora mi sto allenando. E buonasera signore e signori, fuori gli attori, vi conviene toccarvi i coglioni, vi conviene stare zitti e buoni, qui la gente è strana tipo spacciatori. Troppe notti stavo chiuso fuori, mo li prendo a calci sti portoni, sguardo in alto tipo scalatori, quindi scusa mamma se sono sempre fuori, ma sono fuori di testa, ma diverso da loro, e tu sei fuori di testa, ma diversa da loro, siamo fuori di testa, ma diversi da loro, siamo fuori di testa, ma diversi da loro, no.
Yeah, what is there really to say about the song besides the fact that it is incredibly cool and incredibly bisexual? It was a very well-deserved winner when it won. Italy is what is in Eurovision terms, it's one of the big five, which are the countries that are always automatically qualified for the finals, which is Italy, Germany, Spain, France, and the UK. And which very often means that actually those five countries don't really try all that hard because, well, they're in the finals anyway, so they don't really have to. So, but every once in a while, one of the countries will just like basically blow everybody else off the water. And like when this song came on that year, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, no, they're gonna win," and they did by I think like a fair margin as well. Again, it's just a really like feel good song as well. Well, like you listen to it, like it has really good energy, but it also like leaves you smiling as well, which I think is a really good achievement for a hard rock song.
Yeah, a few years ago, I was driving home from work, and I always pass by TD Garden, and there's a billboard that promotes the upcoming shows there, and I saw an ad for Måneskin, or Måneskin, as I thought they were called at the time, and I was like, who the hell are these guys? And little did I know that, this is like the biggest Italian rock band going right now. And I saw that, this was their big global breakthrough, and it's a good song. It's a pretty damn good rock song, but I didn't know what was special about it until I saw that they won Eurovision with it. And then it all came into place. Because if you win that contest, it's going to give you a pretty nice boost. And I saw the performance of the song in the finals there, and it was a really good performance. They were wearing these tight red leather outfits. They kind of look like a sort of like a Kevin Nash style, with the singlets or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With the Outsiders that era. But yeah, it's even more impressive as well that they won with this song, because as far as I know, with my sort of limited knowledge of Eurovision, a hard rock song doesn't typically win Eurovision, Paul.
Yes, no, most often it does not. There are a few examples of where that has happened. Actually, funny enough, because I can actually tie this back to a band we've already talked about. So when I went to the Sabaton concert, one of the openers for that was actually Lordi, which is a Finnish band that actually won Eurovision with a hard rock song as well. But I think they were actually the first one, and then I think it happens very rarely, but it can happen. No. It definitely isn't the normal style of like songs that win Eurovision, but just quality-wise, it was one of those years where it's like maybe it goes against the normal trend of songs or of genres that win, but like the quality was just so immediately apparent to everybody that it was like, oh yeah, no, they're just gonna sweep this fucking competition.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't know they were Italian at first because of the name. Måneskin doesn't sound Italian to me.
No.
But
no, that sounds Swedish.
Yeah, apparently the bass player is half Danish, I think, and the word is Danish for moonlight or something like that, and they went with that. So
oh yeah, it is actually. Yeah. I never put that together. Now that you're like, I'm looking
at
it,
me
like, oh yeah, no, that is the Danish word. Yeah.
The American using Wikipedia to school the European. How about that?
The European that did his masters in Denmark and speaks Danish.
All right. Well, my next pick here, another German band, and hopefully one that you actually like, Paul. This is a German trio known as Trio. And I went with their song from their self-titled debut album. This is Da Da Da.
Was ist los mit dir, mein Schatz? Aha. Geht es immer nur bergab? Aha. Geht nur das, was du verstehst? Aha. This is what you got to know. Love you though it didn't show. Ich lieb dich nicht, du liebst mich nicht. 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 Da, da, da. 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 Ich lieb dich nicht, du liebst mich nicht. Da, da, da. Ich lieb dich nicht, du liebst mich nicht. Da, da, da. Ich lieb dich nicht.
So my description of this is Kraftwerk without the work. It's just the most basic-ass song with the most basic-ass beeps and boops and melody. Super repetitive, very droll line delivery. Even the has no pizzazz to it. And yet, I nod along every time I hear it. It's a catchy little number. It's German efficiency to a T. And this was a big hit in many countries. It's been used in a bunch of commercials and TV shows over the years. And, you know, it's all this hoopla for a song called Da Da Da. That's it, you know. And Trio were not around very long, but they definitely made their mark with this song, Paul.
Okay, Andrew, I have to say, I like the song.
Oh, phew.
No, I mean, it's very, very simple, right? Like, this is like prime Neue Deutsche Welle, which was this like music movement in like the late 70s, early 80s that like, yeah, like it gave us this song, it gave us like Kraftwerk, and like that's where all of that comes from. And yeah, no, it's very, very simple, but it's also like one of those like things where it just drills itself into your brain because of how simple it is. Like it's very much like it's the you know Mark Henry. It's like it's not what he does, it's what he does in between the moves, right? And Trio with Da 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 is very, very similar to that. And this is such a reference that like, well, however many people are in the Voice of Wrestling Slack.
It's for our Slack and for our Discord, pretty much. That's kind of it, I think.
But I'm only half joking, where like because it is such a minimalist thing, right? Mm-hmm. Like there's not really all that much. Like it's not like you can be like, oh, what is like the secret message of Da Da Da? There isn't one. Like yes, there's the Da 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 part, but then the other part, like the German part, like it's not like there's anything deeply hidden there. It's literally just like, I love you not, you love me not. Da da da. That's the entire song. And like that's it. Like it's just that simple, but it's just so enjoyable. And honestly, now that I think about it, I actually kind of want to do the song at karaoke. Because
it's pretty
like
easy.
It's gonna be easy, but yeah, it's gonna be really easy, but I think like it's gonna pop the crowd really good.
Well, this is also a case where I've been mishearing the lyrics for many years because there's the refrain, Ich lieb dich nicht, du liebst mich nicht, which is, I don't love you, you don't love me in German. But I thought he was saying, lich, 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 which I don't think means anything, Paul, so...
I mean, it would be like, ooh, light. Like, I guess that would be the closest one you can translate.
I took Spanish in school, so forgive me.
I mean, look, Andrew, like, we've all been there. Like, actually, for, like, Total Song Africa, for the longest time, I thought, like, because obviously, like, in the, like, refrain, right, like, the line is actually, like, I bless the rains down in Africa. Mm-hmm. For the longest time, I thought they were singing, I guess it rains down in Africa. So,
I guess it rains down in Africa. I've never been there, but
yeah.
there's a lot of grass and trees in a lot of parts of it. But all right, Paul, what's next, man?
Okay, so now I'm gonna also be like pronouncing something incredibly incorrectly because Finnish is not a language I speak, and Finnish is also not. It's a completely different language family from like German or English. So this is gonna be rough. So we're sticking with the Eurovision topic, and it's Kierja with Cha Cha Cha.
Tulossa, pidän kaksi käsi kiinni juomista niinku. Ei, en mieti huomista, kun tartun tuopista niinku. Ei, on olla sekaisin ja vapaa huolista niinku. Ei, ja mä jatkan kunnes en enää pysy tuolissa niinku. Mä lähden tanssimaan niinku cha-cha-cha, enkä pelkääkään tätä maailmaa. Niinku cha-cha-cha, kun mä kaadan päälle niin champagnea. Cha-cha-cha, toinen silmä joka...
So the downside of this being an audio medium, you didn't just see me do like the kind of sway my arm back and forth gesture that they do in the song when it like turns into like the happier mode. Yeah, so I absolutely love the song. I think this is actually like my favorite all-time Eurovision song. I am still salty that it didn't win. The reason it didn't win is because Eurovision is bullshit and they wanted to give it to Sweden because the Eurovision after this was the 50-year anniversary of ABBA winning. So they kind of manipulated the juries, in my opinion. This is me putting on a like giant tinfoil hat, and this is full on conspiracy theories, but I don't care. They fucking manipulated the vote. They told the juries to vote for the Swedish entry that year, which was incredibly boring, and basically just to guarantee that like it would go to Sweden for the 50th anniversary of ABBA. This song should have won. It's bullshit. It's amazing. I love it. What did you think about it without knowing all of that baggage?
Well, my first thought is that this guy has 3 letters with umlauts in his name. Very impressive. Very impressive for sure.
That's normal Finnish name.
Well, it's impressive
alert.
to me, goddammit. So, my second thought is we had da da da. Now we have cha cha cha, and cha 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 makes da 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 look even more basic because this thing is a dynamo. You know, it's so big and in your face. The Wikipedia article has its genres as dance pop, industrial metal, and electronic core, which is quite the combo. And it's about going out clubbing and drinking pina coladas and champagne and a pint. So it's appropriately not subtle. And yeah, knowing this came in second in Eurovision makes a lot of sense there because this feels more that speed than Måneskin does, I think, Paul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, like I said, like in a normal year, this absolutely would have won. And I do kind of like, you know, that it's kind of a bisected song in a way, right? Like, because you have the really, really, really like hard like part at the beginning, which is like the way it's essentially described as like that early, really, really hard part is like him still at work and like building up aggression essentially. And then when it like shifts into like the nice cha 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 da 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 da. Like when it shifts into that part, that's basically when he has actually arrived at the party and he has his pina colada and he's just like, fuck yeah, like it's like time to like relax and party, which, you know, I feel like what is more European than be like you know, you get pissed off at work, and then like you go and you have like your like time off, and you just kind of go party to some like electronic music while you drink some like massive cocktail. What is more European than that, really?
Not much. I did want to mention the video again, which takes place in, I think it's a boxing ring that's supposed to also be a wrestling ring. Like, it's a weird hybrid where Karija is shadow boxing, but he's in wrestling gear, and I think at one point he gets put in a giant swing, like Claudio does. So it's all mixed up there, I think, Paul. I don't know. Very strange. But all right, my next pick here, another Swedish band, another duo as well. This is Röyksopp, and I went with a song off of their album Look Sharp, and this is The Look.
Walking like a man, hitting like a hammer, she's a juvenile scam. Never was a quitter, tasting like a raindrop. She's got the look. And she goes, na 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 na.
So that was Röyksopp's big international breakthrough, number one hit in many countries, including America, and it's easy to see why. You know, pro tip, if you want your song to be a hit, put a bunch of na-na-na-na-nas in it. That should do the trick. But no, I found this song in Rock Band 3, and I've always enjoyed it. You know, it's like perfect 80s glam pop rock. The harmonies between Marie Fredriksson and Per Gessle are really nice. I like the snappy, spunky tempo to it. And I like that guitar tone as well that they use. It's kind of like Eurythmics had a Swedish cousin or whatever. So it's kind of in that vein, I think. So, yeah, I like the look, Paul, you might say.
Yeah. So here's my reaction when I saw like Röyksopp on the list. I was like, wait, I thought the topic was European. Why the fuck is Röyksopp on here? I was like, oh, wait, no shit, it's Swedish. So yeah, this is the band that I consistently forget is like not American. Because I think they just have such like, I feel like Swedish bands specifically very often have like the best, like they're generally the best at like emulating American vibes, if that makes sense. Because like I feel like, you know, because like very often for like like especially this kind of type of like music, like you always like imagine like for like American bands, like as a European at least, you imagine, you know, like an open road in like semi-arid like climate, right? Like there's like a little like tumbleweed going by while you're like driving like an open roof car like through there and everything, and there's like a route sign there, and like you're like just about to like run out of gas, and then you find the gas station and everything, and like that's just like, you know, American like hard rock music vibes essentially. And I feel like bands like Röyksopp out of every like European bands are always the ones that like the best at emulating exactly these type of vibes. Like many other European bands try to do that and fail kind of miserably very often, but I feel like they actually pull it off. I don't know if that's because Sweden is like also very like loosely populated, but somehow they pull it off. I mean, to be fair, there are actually Swedish rednecks, which are like actually trying to like emulate American rednecks. So maybe that's it as well.
And there is a Swedish band called Rednecks that did.
Oh yeah, Rednecks, obviously.
Cotton Eye Joe,
yes.
You know, so
yes.
It all comes together. Yeah. But
I obviously listened to that song as a kid first, and it was like it felt like a little bit of a moment of like the like certainties of my life falling apart when I found out they were Swedish and not American.
Well, as far as Röyksopp goes, they are the second best-selling Swedish band of all time. Obviously, ABBA's number one. You're not beating them. But these guys sold a lot of albums.
They were massive.
Yeah, this album had Listen to Your Heart, which was also a big hit. The next album, Joyride, was even bigger. And when Marie Fredriksson died a few years ago from cancer, the King of Sweden released a statement about her death. That's how big this band is in that country. So, yeah, ABBA, again, number one with a bullet. But Röyksopp, they're in a pretty damn good second place.
Yeah.
All right, what's your next pick there, Paul?
So now for something completely different.
Oh, yes.
So we're going like bit further back. I mean, not like band-wise further back in time, but in style-wise, we're going way back in time. My next pick is Heilung with Hamara Hippere. So for beat's sake, I was like drumming along on my table. In this case, I was drumming along on my chest. Andrew, I want you to like put yourself into a position. You're a Roman legionnaire in like the like let's say like 100 to like 200 AD, and you've been put on the like border regions, right? And you're going into like you're put on the like Rhine, right? Like on the border regions of the Roman Empire. And you're like sent out on patrol and you enter a deep dark forest. This music is the last thing you hear before you're like cut down by like a band of barbarians. I love the song. Like it's 14 minutes long actually. So I don't know, it just kind of touches something very primal in you in a way. Like I think that's the best way of describing it, where it's just like this is the type of music, like not just like that I was talking about, like that they would do in like ancient human times. Like this feels like the music they were also doing in like whatever cave in Africa we originally came from. That's like what type of music that feels. It just touches like something very primal, very human, like right in your core. It's like that's always the feeling that I get out of this, and it's just like just great music to just kind of like space out to as well, and just kind of like let yourself go, just completely shut off your brain and just kind of vibe to essentially.
Yeah, if God of War had a rave scene, this is what we'll be playing. Just Norse chanting with a cool beat. It's not what I expected, just based on the visuals of the band, because this is a band that does not play in t-shirt and jeans. This is a band that dresses like actual ancient, Norse tribe people, with deer antlers and makeup and fur pelts. I was expecting something, a lot scarier, because they do look kind of scary, but what I heard here was quite hypnotic and beautiful. Still a bit dark, of course, but not as, blatantly evil, I guess. The name of the band translates to healing. And I guess that has influenced their music into being more relaxing and putting people at ease. So yeah, I was personally just blown away by what I got here, Paul.
Yeah, I agree with you there. They also have a song called Kriegskalder, which is about like basically essentially like, essentially I am peaceful, but if you come and like try to invade my village, I will like take a sword and like split your skull open, basically. But no, for the most part, I agree with you. Where they're like a bit more like it's very much trance, hypnotic, essentially, is kind of the vibe that they're going for most of the time. Yeah, like I said, that they're one of my absolute favorites. I think like almost exactly a year ago, I actually missed going to a concert of theirs because it was when like RevPro and GWF did their like joint shows when like WWE was here like last year in Berlin, and they basically had like a concert at around the same time. But I had just gone to like back-to-back like wrestling. I had just gone to wrestling shows on back-to-back days. In like again 35 like degrees Celsius heat, so I just didn't have the energy to go, and I still kind of regret it, but I also feel like I actually wouldn't have enjoyed that concert. But I will definitely make sure like next time I will get a chance, like these are like top of my list of like stuff to go to, because this feels like you just pop an edible and you just have a fucking good time for like 2 hours.
Yeah, this is a band where you need to be in the right headspace, I think, for their shows. Because, yeah, they do not half-ass things. Just going by their Wikipedia, their instruments include drums, including one with horse skin painted with human blood, 2 drums with deer skin and a drum with goat skin, bones, including a human forearm bone and deer bones, a buffalo horn rattle, a clay rattle with human ashes. Like, they really go for it there. So, yeah, I would need to be in the right frame of mind to experience this thing live, I think.
That's fair, yeah.
All right, now for something, again, completely different. My next pick here, this is a DJ from Spain named DJ Sammy. And he's teaming up with another DJ here named Jano from Germany, and a Dutch singer named Do, spelled D-O. And this is a cover of a big hit song by Bryan Adams. This is Heaven. So a little personal context for this one. When I was at overnight camp growing up, they would have these socials, which are, dances. And this song was one of the staple songs of those socials. It was a mainstay, really. And a few years later, I was at my senior prom, and this was the last song that played before it ended. And I've realized since then that this song has helped play a role in my musical tastes. Like, why do I love synthy, poppy, techno, electronica music with female vocals? It's because of songs like this, and Better Off Alone by Alice DJ, and Every Time We Touch by Cascada. Like, it implanted on me in my youth, and it's still with me after all these years. So yeah, I do love this song on its own more than the original, to be honest. But there is that personal element to it for me as well, Paul.
Mm-hmm. I think I actually know this version better than I do the like Bryan Adams version, to be honest. Because yeah, I mean that's very like this is like very like Eurocore, I would almost say, right? Like this is exactly the type of song that you think of when you think of like Euro electronica, like just exactly this kind of vibe where it's like you have like the DJ part that is like very important of it, that like do. So you can play it at a party, and then like the female vocals to it and everything. Yeah, this is just like quintessentially just like that exact formula, just condensed down to its very core, and I think it's just very, very enjoyable overall.
Mm-hmm. And DJ Sammy has another cover on the same album of Boys of Summer by Don Henley. And I love that one too. I know the Ataris did that pop punk version of it, but I've always preferred DJ Sammy's version over that one myself. So, but all right, I think we're swinging back the other way now with your next pick there, Paul.
Now for something completely different yet again. So, but it's kind of sticking to like again, like I said, I've been trying to do like Paris essentially. So this kind of fits with what I introduced before. So my next pick is Vadruna with Tyr. If the previous song is like the last, or the previous song that I suggested, right, like the Heilung one, it's the last thing you hear as a Roman legionnaire getting lost in like the Teutoburg forest. This is the last thing you hear if you're like a British monk in like 800, 900 AD. And
the Last Kingdom show on Netflix.
Exactly. There's like a Viking raider band bursting through your monastery door, and this is what you hear before they put a like axe between your like eyes, basically. Again, this just has like, especially this song has just this like incredibly like hypnotic quality to it. Vadruna, or rather a Vadruna song, was actually used as the theme for, I don't know if you remember him, Andrew, Euron Simmons.
Oh yeah,
from WXW. Yeah, like because he used like the what's it called again, the shoes song at first, and then he kind of like switched like a Vadruna song later. But I actually prefer this one. That's why I picked this one. It's just like I said, it's just incredibly hypnotic. Like the song, like it starts out basically with just like fires like getting lit on like ships, and then like the like drums like kick in, and it's just this feeling of like, oh yeah, this is like somebody like starting an invasion of something essentially. That's the vibe of the song, and it just pulls you in. It's like it is kind of monotone overall, right? Because it just has this like very consistent beat that just sways back and forth but it just like lulls you in and just like keeps you engaged throughout the entire song. And I just, just if you just judge it based off the other song, like you know now that like that is something that will just like get me every single time, where like this is one of those songs that will just like make me focus down. It's actually a song I use at work to like focus.
I can see it for sure. Yeah. Once again, a very God of War coded song, I think. Definitely, like you said, feels like we're several generations past the primal Norse tribes thing of your previous song to a now more stereotypical like Viking kind of style here. I don't have too many thoughts on it. It's pretty good. But I did see that this band did do some music for the show Vikings that was on a few years ago, and that makes a lot of sense there. And the lead guy, Einar Selvik, was on the show as well. And he's got like this braided Viking beard too. So I don't listen to this music in my daily life, I don't think. But it sounds good to me, so.
Yeah, fair. No, like Einar actually make most, like Vadruna made some of the music, but Einar actually made most of the music for the entire series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a different strain of Nordic nerdery than Heilung is, because they're not in makeup or using blood or whatever, but if you look up photos of them and like, publicity photos, they do wear like Norse clothing and use traditional Nordic instruments. And on the bio on their website, it says they also use, quote, non-traditional instruments and other sources of sound, such as trees, stones, bones, water, and fire. So they're a very eco-friendly band, I guess, Paul. So
yeah, they have an entire song where the chorus is built around bows being fired.
Very unique.
So yeah.
Very unique. Okay, swinging back around again. All right. We are heading over to Italy once again for my next pick. This is from 1973, a guy named Adriano Celentano. And I went with a song that is quite the mouthful, and I'll try to say it correctly here. This is called Prisen Kol and Ensinen Kuzol.
When I stay in the shoes now, I'll hold the scene, then a whole red maybe get the color boss time. When it's the same range, you'll call me Steen. You never tell me never judge a God David's a sham. You the common not choose no buying for not show hobble just again, not the cover no time. Oh, but difference to stand, light the shoes of my man. You would cost you the amount of called to raid the girls. Oh, for something.
So I first heard that song on Fargo, the TV show, and I was like, this is a nice little bop there. I'm going to listen to it on its own. And I did, and I was like, wait a minute. What is he saying? What are these words? And if the words sound like gibberish to you, that's because they are gibberish. He wrote the song as kind of like a novelty song of sorts about communication and the language barrier. So, as he puts it, the words are meant to be how English sounds to someone who doesn't speak English. And it works because your brain wants to figure out what he's saying and put the pieces together and make it make sense, but it can't. So, we've had a bunch of different languages in the show so far, Paul, but this is a truly universal language because nobody understands it at all.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I actually didn't look it up because I also tried to do the thing where like I was trying to like figure out what language this even is. And I very much was like, I you know what I actually settled on eventually is like Esperanto, because I was like, yeah, this kind of sounds like a bunch of languages I know, but it's also none of them actually. So I was like, okay, maybe it's that. I was actually going to ask you how you found a song in Esperanto, which like that would have been really impressive. But like, I mean, gibberish is also good. Like, this is actually also one of the songs of the ones that you suggested that I definitely will like go back to like listen to afterwards as well. Like, I think again, it's like one of those songs that just has like really good vibes overall, right? Like, it's just like really nice, really enjoyable, and yeah, I'll definitely like try and listen to this a bit more afterwards, because I just really, really, really enjoyed the song overall.
Mm-hmm. And Celentano has gone on to claim that this is the first rap song because of the looping drums and the horns and the lyrical flow of it all. And this is years before Rapper's Delight and The Message and all those early hip-hop songs. I mean, I'm no expert on the genre, of course, but I think something as huge as rap and hip-hop can't really be boiled down to just one song that started the whole thing. There are just a ton of influences and other genres, and rap, gradually became something out of those. So I think this is a little piece of it, perhaps, a little piece of proto-rap, as it's called, but as far as like the starting gun here, I don't think I can go that far with it, Paul.
No. But to be quite honest, until you said that the song is from the 70s, I thought this was a song from the mid-90s. Right? Like, this just has like such like mid-90s vibes, really. And like, maybe it's not the like, progenitor of all rap music that has ever existed. But it's definitely a song that is just like decades ahead of its time. Mm-hmm. I will say that. Sure. Because what else feels like this from the 70s?
Mm-hmm. All right, Paul, what you got next?
Yes, so next, we're going to go back to Germany, actually, and we're going to get a little bit political as well, which I'll get to after the song. The ones that know German will immediately understand why I said we're going to get political, because now we're going to go and we're going to listen to Die Ärzte with Schrei nach Liebe.
Warum hast du Angst vorm Streicheln? Was soll all der Terz? Unterm Lorbeerkranz mit Eicheln weiß ich, schlägt dein Herz. Und Romantik ist für dich nicht bloß graue Theorie. Zwischen Störkraft und den Onkels steht ne Kuschelrock-LP.
Deine Gewalt ist nur ein stummer Schrei nach Liebe. Deine Springerstiefel sehnen sich nach Zärtlichkeit. Du hast nie gelernt, dich zu artikulieren. Und deine Eltern hatten niemals für dich Zeit.
Arschloch!
So this is the quintessential, like, German anti-fascist hymn. It's a song that came out in the early 90s when there definitely was a really big problem in Germany with like violent like neo-Nazis. I mean, there's still like certain issues with fascism. I'm not gonna like turn this into a whole like fucking soapbox thing about that. But like it definitely was like a song at the time that like was very, very necessary by like a band, Die Ärzte, who was like one of the biggest like punk bands at the time as well. And it's essentially like a little bit of like trying to like psychoanalyze like a neo-Nazi essentially is what the theme of the song is. And so like the reason I actually picked it for this one is because I think we're in times where like, you know, doing anti-fascist action is more important than ever. So that's basically why I put it on here. And that's what I stand by. And I also, just aside from the message, I also think it's an absolutely kick-ass song. Done it multiple times at karaoke. While singing it with other people at the same time. Have had it requested by other people at karaoke because it's like the fucking like chorus and everything. Like it's such a good hook. Like it's just like immediately burrows itself into your brain and just immediately wants you to like shout along to it as well. Like the chorus is just the word like Arschloch, which is the German word. Like you might have figured out already. It's the German word for asshole. Just immediately burrows itself into your brain, stays there as it should be because of the message of the song. I love it. One of my like all-time favorite songs. Andrew, what are you thinking?
Yeah, if there was ever a time to pick an anti-fascist song, now's the time. That's for sure. And what I like is this song isn't just like your generic "I hate these people" kind of song. It's more cutting and insulting. Your violence is just a silent cry for love. Your combat boots long for tenderness. You never learned to express yourself, and your parents never had time for you. And then the button is, oh, asshole. So, yeah, it's a little bit more creative, in terms of the hate, I guess. But yeah, again, like with Beatsteaks and other bands that you picked on this episode here, Paul, I never heard of these guys before. But yeah, I enjoyed this one.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, these guys are even bigger than Beatsteaks. These guys are even bigger than Peter Fox. These guys are like German music royalty, for lack of a better term. I think they would hate, like obviously they're punk, but they would hate to be referred to it as that. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of what they are. They're like legitimately one of the biggest like German language bands like ever. They have sold out like so many just massive stadiums in Germany multiple times in a row. They've sold out like the Olympic Stadium in Berlin multiple times. They've given concerts on like they don't live that far from like Tempelhofer Feld, which is like a former airport, and they were like giving concerts there where they like just had to like wall off like a decent chunk of the airport field for the concert, for the ads, so that they were able to like fit everybody on there. They are just unfathomably huge. Just like I think it's really hard to really express how big they are. Like they're base. Okay, I actually need to find. You know what? I got a good comparison. They're basically the like Bob Dylan, not Bob Dylan, the Bruce Springsteen of like Germany, basically in terms of like concert sizes. Maybe not music, definitely in terms of content of the music, not in terms of style of the music, and in terms of like audience and everything. Like that's who they are essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, funny enough, I referenced them earlier. I kind of got Fall Out Boy vibes from this a little bit, like the balance of the riffy punk parts and the more delicate parts. That reminds me a lot of Fall Out Boy. The difference is that this band is a lot older than Fall Out Boy. Because they started in 82, and there's been some breaks in between I see there, but they're still going today, so yeah.
Top of my list for like bands to see live. Friends of mine went like last year, were like blown away, so no, I have to go before they like retire, which might not be far off, to be honest.
All right, well, my next pick here, I have one more German artist to play. This is a guy named Lou Bega. And if the name sounds familiar, that's probably because you've heard this song a million times, because this is Mambo number 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody in the car, so come on, let's ride to the liquor store around the corner. The boys say they want some gin and juice, but I really don't wanna be a buzz like I had last week. I must stay deep, cause talk is cheap. I like Angela, Pamela, Sandra, and Rita. And as I continue, you know they're getting sweeter. So what can I do? I really bag you, my lord. To me, flirting is just like a sport. Anything fly, it's all good. Let me jump in, please sing in the trumpet. A little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erica by my side, a little bit of Rita's all I need, a little bit of Tina's what I see, a little bit of Sandra in the sun, a little bit of Mary on night long. A little bit of Jessica, here I am. A little bit of you makes me your man.
So this is another personal context pick. There was a time period in the late 90s, early 2000s where every single bar or bat mitzvah that I went to played this song. It was like Thanos. It was inevitable. This and Cotton Eye Joe by Rednecks, actually. It was like those two songs were always played. But yeah, this song, it got people moving and grooving. I guarantee you it's still being played at a reception somewhere right now. I mean, people are dancing right now to a little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erica by my side. And I put it on the other day. My toes were tapping like I was 9 years old again. Of course, nowadays, I understand the sexual nature of the song a lot better. But back then, I was a lot more innocent, I guess. But yeah, this is just, it's a real fun time, Paul.
Yes. No, that was gonna be my take as well. But like, this song is just, it's been talking about it multiple times, right? Like, it's just like, this song has good vibes. Like, it's just like, it's there for a fun time. This is one of those things that like it's like the summer hit, right? It's like the song that like dominates the charts. Like, I don't remember if it came out during the summer or not, but it just feels like a summer hit. It's like, it comes out in like June or July, just before like, you know, like school holidays are like starting. And like, this is the song that you like listen to while you're in a traffic jam on the Autobahn or the highway or whatever, going to like wherever like the family is going on like vacation this year. And like I will admire its staying power as well. Because I feel like it's a song that kind of transcends time as well. Because realistically, like, this song could have come out at like any time between like 1975 and now, right? Like, I don't think that's like unreasonable. Like it came out in late 90s, right?
99 was
99, yeah. So like that's when it came out, but like it doesn't exactly feel like a song from that time, because it is in a weird way it's timeless. And it's again like I get where you're coming from, Andrew. Where it's like, yeah, you like listen to it again and like immediately it's just like, yeah, no, it's a song that just perfectly holds up, because it's just a song that is just removed from time and space in a weird way. Because again, you're not gonna guess like what time it came out, and you're also like, unless you know, you're not gonna guess that this is a song by like a German, basically.
That's the other thing, too, just how multicultural this guy is, because his real name is David Lubega Balamezi. His mom is Italian, his dad is Ugandan, he was raised in Germany, and he's doing Latin music, because he went to Miami, and that's what inspired him to make music. So yeah, it's quite fascinating to see just how all of these different cultures are in just one guy, so it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. No. It's yeah. That's what I mean. I think that actually adds to like the good vibes. Like, I actually feel the last two songs are like, you know, not to like get sappy, but I feel like they do stand for something in a weird way. Like in very different ways, but I do feel like they both have like a message to carry that I think is important right now.
a celebration of goodness, I suppose.
Yes,
would be the right term. Yeah, but all right, Paul, what's your last pick of the episode here?
Yes, so my last pick is also my most recent pick. That's kind of the theme of my last two picks, to be quite honest. Is like obviously Schrei nach Liebe is not a recent song, but it's a song that I feel is important right now. And this one is a recent song, though. And it's actually a video game theme song, actually. It's for the Game of the Year for 2025 from Expedition 33. Clair Obscur. It's the titular theme from Lorient Testor. I'm gonna try and do my best French accent here as well. From Lorient Testor, Alice Duport-Pessière. It's the titular song Lumière.
Dans là-haut sera ravi, les toits se renoient. clair, obscur, trouble de rature, courbera effet. Clair, obscur, bordé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle. Clair, obscur, trouble de rature, courbera effet. Clair, obscur, bordé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle. Oh, clair, obscur, trouble, rature, clair, obscur, guardé aux peintures. Clair, obscur, trouble de rature, courbera effet. Clair, obscur, guardé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle.
Okay, first question. Andrew, did you play the game?
I do not have a PS5 or an Xbox or a PC, so no, I did not play
Damn
that
it.
game.
Okay. Okay. I can do the spoiler free anyway, so it's fine. To me, this is also like something like quintessential European as well, because what is more European than like playing a game that is kind of fundamentally about like the basis of existence is the best way I can describe it without spoiling things. Like that is very much like, it's like existential and a very, very real and a very, very like digging right down to the core way, essentially, is kind of the theme of the game. And like the theme, like the entire like soundtrack just knocks it out of the park. And like this song just kind of occupied my mind for a while after I played the game, and it still kind of occupies my mind. I mean, it occupied the mind of people that haven't played it. Like essentially, like a friend of mine, like she was like humming like the you know, like the kind of main theme of
melody,
it. Yeah, the melody of it, right? Like she was humming it before she had ever even played the game. So like that's how much of an impact the song has had so far. And like to me, it's one of the best pieces of like video game music soundtrack that like have ever been produced. Like it's just so memorable. It's just touching in a way as well. Like it just, again, I think it enhances it if you've played the game, but I do feel like it's a piece of music that can just completely stand on its own as well. I don't know if you agree with that, Andrew, so I'm kind of curious what you think as somebody that hasn't played it, and I don't know if you're even like familiar with the game at all.
I'm familiar with it for sure. I mean, even though I haven't played it before, it's been impossible to ignore just the sheer hype and praise for this game that it's gotten, you know, since it came out, and the praise for the music as well. And I can see why, because it's quite gorgeous. You know, between the vocals and the strings and the piano, it's a beautiful song. And it's another example of how far we've come with music and games. You know, this would have been great for the last episode I did with Joel, the video game music episode, because it's a good example of, you know, going from simple MIDI files of beeps and boops in the 80s and 90s to, just an 8-hour soundtrack of lush, wide-ranging music that is so authentic to the setting of this game and all that stuff. So yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's very French though. It's like this is kind of, I think maybe I guess Americans have a little bit of a perspective on that, but like from a European perspective, it's just like it's so incredible. Like this entire game and the entire soundtrack is so incredibly French. Like for once in a good way. Because normally when Europeans say that, it's like, basically like normally when Europeans say like, this is very French, it's like, this is very French, derogatory. But in this case, it is actually, this is very French, complimentary.
Yeah. Well, I found a BBC article that said Laurent Testard had never worked on a game before.
Yeah.
The makers of the game found him on SoundCloud, and other people were recruited for the game on Reddit and forums because it was during the pandemic lockdowns. So yeah, it just goes to show the talent is always out there. You just have to find it. So yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, Like, this is actually, like, okay, there's actually somebody that I had to look up. Because I actually wanted to, like, pick somebody very similar. Like, there's this game called Brigador, where they got the artist Makeup and Vanity set, and I actually had to look up if he was European or American. Unfortunately, he's from California, so I couldn't pick him. But, like, it's kind of, like, similar story, essentially. Where, like, it's, like, this guy who had never done anything for games, right? Like, and just, like, pick him up, and it's just like, okay, these are, like, the vibes of the games, like, make the music. And, like, both of them, like, kind of just completely knocked it apart. But, like, I mean, especially Lorient on this one, like, it's just, like, just absolutely insane that he's just, like, yeah, I have never worked on any game ever, and he just immediately produces what might most likely be, like, the best, like, like, OST for, like, any game ever. Like, that's kind of, like, that's, I mean, I kind of, for him, in a weird way, I feel bad, because I'm like, man, this is going to be such a fucking hard, you know...
A bar to clear, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, that's like, because I don't think he's that old. I think he's still quite young. So it's like, this is now the bar that you will have to live up to. I mean, you know, he obviously has the talent, but man, that's going to be something.
Well, my last pick here, we are leaving the continent and hopping on a boat, and we're going over to Iceland, baby, for a lady who's only known by one name, and that name is Björk. And I went with a song off of her debut album, properly called Debut, and this is a song called There's More to Life Than This.
Morning, we could go down to the harbor and jump between the boats and see the sun come up. And sneak up to this island. I could bring my little ghetto blaster. There's more to life than this. But then we'd have to rush back to the town's fast baker.
So I think we can all agree that Björk is a bit of an odd duck. She's not for everybody, including me. You know, I only like a little bit of her music, mainly just this first album. But, you know, even the weirdest among us can use that weirdness to make good songs. And this is a good example of that, I think. It's a club banger. You've got soaring vocals in the chorus, but because it's Björk, she records the song in a nightclub overnight. Halfway through, she goes into the bathroom. The music gets muffled. She's still singing. Her voice takes over in the mix. And then she leaves the bathroom. The dance music comes back. And then she leaves the club. And there might be some studio production trickery going on there. I don't know. But regardless, like, that is Björk to a T. Like, even on the fun, dancey stuff, there is still that layer of quirkiness going on there, Paul.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, that really is just like Björk to a T, right? Like, because it wouldn't be a Björk song if there wasn't something on there that is just like going beyond the boundaries of a normal song. I agree that makes her music a little bit hit and miss at the times. But I think artists like Björk are so important because they push the medium forward. Like, they're always trying out something new. And if you're trying out something new, that might mean that you just completely fail and eat shit. Like, that's the risk, obviously. But if you succeed, right, like then like that is something so like unique and new. Like this, like I think this song is a really good example of that, right? Like because as you said, it is probably one of her more like commercial songs, for lack of a better term. But even in that one, like she throws something in there that throws you for a loop, really. And I think it works. Like I think it, like otherwise I would have been like, yeah, this is like a nice dancey pop number or whatever. But I probably wouldn't be thinking about it. But because of the whole like her going into like the toilet and then her like literally like leaving the fucking like recording essentially, for lack of a better term, like that's to me is like the thing that makes the song so unique and it makes the song so memorable that like wouldn't be there otherwise, right? Like otherwise it's a nice song, like don't get me wrong, but like would you really remember the song if that part wasn't there though?
Probably not. I mean, I enjoy this song, but the reason I enjoy it is because of like the melody and the soaring vocals in the chorus, which is true for a lot of songs, you know? So yeah, I mean, taking away the production quirks would not make it stand out as much, for sure. I mean, I will say like the lyrics are also pretty strange because the verses read like a woman drunkenly telling her friend what she wants to do. We could go down to the harbor and jump between the boats and see the sun come up. We could nick a boat and sneak off to this island. I could bring my little ghetto blaster, but then we'd have to rush back to the town's best baker to get the first bread of the morning. It's like there's no rhymes, there's no poetic beauty. It's very matter of fact and very odd, you know? But in terms of like the production stuff, yeah, I mean that's clearly the signature element of the song, and without it, you know, I think it would still be good, but it wouldn't have that, you know, unique trait to it, Paul. Mm-hmm. But again, like, unique is Björk's whole thing. Like, you can never say that she's, you know, not standing out or not, you know, doing her own thing. She may not be your cup of tea, again, but, you know, she's one of one. That's for damn sure, Paul. She's one of one. Yeah. But all right, that was the episode. Those were our songs. Paul, thank you so much for joining me on this European tour. Despite the sword you plunged into my heart with your Scorpions hate, I had a lot of fun, man. This was great.
Yeah, no, I always love coming on the show as well. Like it's always so much fun because it's fun to talk about the wrestling, but I do love music as well, and I especially love this one where it's like I said, I gave you a bit of grief for like the like no Irish thing or whatever, but like I do think like actually it helped me that like because otherwise like I feel like my list probably would have been like 60-70% like UK or Ireland songs if you didn't give me that restriction. So like this really made me like go in and actually like you know dig a bit more for like stuff I really like actually enjoy deeply as well, because like I was like, okay, I want to put up a list of songs that I enjoy. I want to put up a list of like maybe that like inspire some people to like go seek out some stuff as well. So yeah, no, I very, very, very much enjoyed this. And I mean, the Scorpions of it all aside, there were some songs in here I did not know previously that I will now listen to after this episode.
Well, there you go. See, a happy ending after all. How about that? But yeah, any plugs you want to give, Paul? Go right ahead.
Yep. So I will be. So the first small plug is like, well, we're still a bit away from recording that, but like at the end of the month, I will be appearing on Wrestling Omakase, and then obviously the main plug is the Emerald FlowShow, which is where me and Gerard Petrolio, we are mainly covering All Japan Pro Wrestling as well as Pro Wrestling Noah. We just recorded an episode yesterday, actually, so this is like back-to-back recording nights for me. That episode is already up, where we're talking about like the recent like Triple Crown match between Yuma Aoyagi and Jun Saito, as well as like Pro Wrestling Noah actually like doing like the best like number ever and like Kawasaki and all of that, and it's great fun. If you care about those two promotions, it's well worth a listen. If you don't care about those promotions, I don't know, listen to them anyway to make me feel good. So that's my plug.
Okay. Well, Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network, of course. Voicesofwrestling.com for all the other shows on there. Articles, previews, reviews, things like that. Bluesky at Music of the Mat and at Just Andrew on Bluesky. If you want to leave a comment about this episode, share your picks. Voicesofwrestling.com/Discord. That's also where I post the Spotify playlist for each episode. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, or your player of choice, and leave a nice rating and review. Alright, the playout song for today, we mentioned them earlier. I figured we can't have a European episode without some ABBA. Paul, you actually scolded me for not picking ABBA. So I acquiesced and got one for a playout song here. Now, you also told me beforehand that you and your mom went to see the ABBA Voyage show in London. What was that like?
Yes, so that was actually pretty much exactly a year ago, because it was around the time of All In last year. So it was actually my present to my mom for her 60th birthday, because she's a massive ABBA fan. It was absolutely amazing. I like ABBA as well, not as much as her, but I like them as well. When we were basically, because I wanted to make this a present to her, it involved some travel. So I had to tell her in advance that this was going to be the present. So we kind of basically we bought the tickets together. And my thinking at first was let's just grab some seats somewhere or whatever. And she was very insistent that no, we get tickets on the dance floor. And we did. And she was completely right to do that. That made the whole thing so much better. I remember turning around and looking at the people that actually had seats, and they all looked miserable just looking at the people on the dance floor. And the tech that they use is actually insane. It's really hard to describe. The thing I will always say is they literally animated individual strands of hair to get the concert going. It's really nice. It's there was this group of middle-aged women that were British middle-aged women that were around us essentially for most of the concert, and my mom was singing along to every single song that they were doing, and those women afterwards told her that they were incredibly impressed by her just knowing every single that they were she was able to sing along to every single song, that she knew all of the lyrics and everything. And my mom actually started crying, and not because she was sad, but of happiness. And I feel I will never. I think I'm very confident saying I will never be able to top that as a present. This was genuinely amazing and so much fun, and I can only recommend to anybody absolutely go and watch that.
That's your Claire Obscure soundtrack. You're not topping that one for
basically.
For gifts. Yeah. When I saw Peter Gabriel a few years ago, he told this joke where he was the hologram avatars, they take off 20 years and 20 pounds. Well, I'm a hologram too, except my hologram adds 20 years and adds 20 pounds. So you got a nice chuckle there. But how about this? Since we've already played a few Eurovision songs, let's go out with ABBA's song that won them Eurovision in 1974. This is Waterloo. Thanks again, Paul.
Thank you too, Andrew.
It's always repeating itself.
music of the Mat is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. The songs used throughout this show are property of their respective copyright holders.
Hi, I'm Case Lowe, co-host of the Open the Voice Gate podcast. The one question I'm constantly asked when it comes to Dragon Gate is how do I get into the promotion? Well, stop asking and start listening to the Open the Voice Gate podcast, released every Wednesday on the Voices of Wrestling podcasting network. For exclusive news and show reviews, look no further than the leader in Dragon Gate coverage, Open the Voice Gate.
Wrestling Omakase is back, baby. The weekly podcast that takes you across all the top promotions on the entire Japanese wrestling scene, from New Japan to Stardom, Noah, DDT, All Japan, Mari Gold, Dragon Gate, Tokyo Joshi, Sendai Girls, and a whole lot more. I'm John Carroll, a fan of Japanese wrestling for over 20 years, and every week I'm joined by a rotating cast of guest co-hosts as we break down all the top promotions in Japan, men's and women's. Check out Wrestling Omakase right here on the Voices of Wrestling podcasting network today.